AITA for making my neighbor regret messing with my dog? It all started one sunny afternoon when I decided to take my golden retriever, Max, for a walk around our quiet neighborhood. Max is the kind of dog that lights up a room with his goofy personality and endless affection. As we strolled along, we passed by my neighbor, Dave, who was notorious for his overblown sense of entitlement. I'd heard stories of him making a scene when he'd been annoyed by local pets, but I'd always tried to avoid conflict. But little did I know, my patience was about to be tested. As we approached his yard, Max, excited as ever, stumbled into the flower bed that Dave cherished like it was his firstborn. "Hey, get your dog out of my flowers," he yelled, venom dripping from his voice. Despite my apologies, he continued to rant, waving his arms as if my poor dog was about to destroy his entire home. I called Max back, pulled him away, and went on my way. But I couldn't shake off the anger building inside me. The next day, while watering my garden, I noticed Dave's obnoxious sprinkler system was set to spray directly onto my side of the fence. It meant my plants, which were thriving, were now getting drowned. I looked over to see Dave smugly enjoying a beer in his patio chair, completely unaware of the damage he was causing. So immediately, I had an idea. Instead of confronting him directly, I decided to respond in a way that would bring a bit of satisfaction for Max and me. That evening, I filled a large plastic bucket with stones and planted it strategically against the fence, creating what I hoped would be a mini landfill of sorts. Each time his sprinkler system turned on, the water would gush down into my bucket of stones, creating a swampy mess right on his prized flowers. The following morning, I witnessed the chaos unfold. Dave was furious when he found his flower bed drenched, and I couldn't help but stifle my laughter as I pretended to be completely oblivious. "This is unbelievable. Do you have any idea how much those flowers cost?" he shouted, halfway between a man in distress and a dog barking angrily. My heart was racing, not out of guilt, but because of the sheer audacity I'd finally mustered up. "Maybe you should set your sprinkler system the right way," I replied, my smile barely concealed. Dave's face turned red. "You think this is funny? You're going to regret this." For days, we played this game of tit for tat, him trying to sabotage my plants, and I, the mischievous dog owner, coming up with even more outrageous solutions to his shenanigans. Soon enough, it escalated. He pulled down my garden flag, so I retaliated by gleefully taking my hose and spraying his newly planted flowers. It was becoming personal, and yet exhilarating. Finally, after weeks of escalating tensions, it all came to a head. One evening, I heard there was going to be a neighborhood meeting, and I knew Dave would be there. The chatter among other neighbors echoed. Everyone pitied me for dealing with a bully. So, when it was my turn to speak, I decided to recount the entire saga between Dave and me, highlighting his ridiculous behavior, the sprinkler issues, and his entitlement. People began to murmur in agreement, and soon, Dave ended up looking more like the fool than the simple homeowner he pretended to be. They turned against him, sympathizing with my plight, and in that moment, I felt lighter than air. I watched as embarrassment washed over him. A couple of weeks later, I saw him at the mailbox, his head down in what appeared to be shame. Instead of being vengeful, I offered him a treat out of pity for both of us. "Hey, let's bury the hatchet. Just don't spray my flowers again." To my surprise, Dave grunted something resembling an apology, and I realized perhaps the best way to deal with entitlement was not with revenge, but with humor and a gesture of goodwill. In the end, we didn't become friends, but at least we learned to coexist with a little less hostility. My lesson? Sometimes, people just need to be reminded they're not as invincible as they think they are.